Oh boy, it's swell to say.
Good morning, USA!
Hey guys, this is your fiery friend the Infernoman here, and if you're into games, you're right where you need to be. But before we get into it, if you like the content that I put out there, I would greatly appreciate it if you hit me up with a like, or even better, subscribe to me. It really shows that people do care about my content. Now, if you have questions, comments, stuff you'd like to see played or discussed, you can @ me on Twitter or chat directly with me as I stream 2 to 3 times a week on Twitch. A visual link for those are up on the screen right now, and I will have direct links in the details below. And for today's deck tech, we're going to be playing Freedom Flyers. Oh yeah, as you can see, it is the 4th of July, so I'm feeling a little patriotic today. We're going to put something together that was based upon a deck tech that I've already done, based on an established deck, which was the Blue-White Flyers deck, but we're going to add in a little bit of red to get a little bit more of it on flavor for today. If you haven't seen me do these deck techs before, here's basically how I break it down for you guys. First off, we'll talk about the creatures in the deck. We'll then go over the non-creature spells. We'll talk about the land base. We will then go over the sideboard. We'll have a match or two with Sparky to show you how the deck is meant to be played, and if you do like the deck, we'll show you a way to upgrade it. Of course, this time around, the deck is actually a full-on jank. It is non-budget, but maybe we'll go over a couple of ways you can make it budget if you really enjoy it, but don't want to spend too many wildcards on it. So with that, let's begin. Now to begin, we're going to be having 25 creatures in the deck, and we're mostly going to just, again, focus on what is different from the original build. To begin with, we're going to cover Symmetry Sage. Symmetry Sage from Strixhaven, try saying that 5 times fast, is going to be our human wizard with 0/2 and Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, target creature you control has a base power of 2 until end of turn. So think of that mostly as a pseudo buff, if you will. We have 12 other creatures that actually can take advantage of this ability besides the Sage itself, such as Skycat Sovereign, Spectral Sailor, and Healer's Hawk. All of them have a base power of 1. So in other words, think of this kind of like as a pseudo pump, which can sometimes help our weaker creatures trade in if we need to up to something bigger, depending on the matchup. As far as our other new change, we'll be using Kaikar Wind's Fury, our Jeskai Bird Wizard with flying. A 3/3, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get to create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. You can sacrifice the spirit to add red mana. Now, I'm going to explain why the red mana will be relevant, of course, when we get to the non-creature spells, but basically, you're seeing right here, we're going full on with the flying, but also with Kaikar, we now have a chance to actually really grind out some other kinds of battles that we have, mainly because our only other way of going wide was using Skycat Sovereign. Skycat Sovereign's not a bad card, as you can see, but you have to pay 4 mana either to make another creature token. Otherwise, you would use that mana to possibly draw a card with Spectral Sailor. With Kaikar, anytime you do cast off an instant or sorcery that we have, you can just keep creating more tokens, which can help us go wide. That, along with our Anthem effect of Fury and Eagle, allows them to become actually 2/2s. So as you can see, the small changes in the deck actually really make a bigger dynamic. We no longer now need to focus on going full on aggro immediately. We're mostly able to now grind out for the mid game and even the late game if we absolutely need to, thanks to our 2 changes to the deck. Also, FYI, the other main reason why we're using Infuriate Eagle is not just because it's a great card that synergizes well with our deck, but of course, it is our honorary eagle that we use for the flavor win for today. Alright, sorry, I just had to point that out. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to now the non-creature spells. We'll be utilizing 15 non-creature spells in the deck. Rally of Wings and Lofty Donnell are great cards. We're not going to change that, so we're going to keep full placelets of both in this deck. But we do need some fireworks to be on flavor for today. And with that, that's what we'll be bringing in Lightning Helix. 3 damage to any target, and you gain 3 life. Solid card. Amazing. Why not have it? Of course, it's just perfect for this deck. It solves a lot of problems with our spot removal options and helps us keep our life total high enough to avoid dying too early on when we're being really aggressive. Prismari Command also helps complement this whole game plan by also fixing another problem that the deck has, which is we can't really draw cards too often, and sometimes we have dead draws. So this fixes that, or we can use the treasure token to help us ramp into something bigger. We can destroy an artifact on our opponent's side in a pinch, and of course, when we need to, 2 damage to any target is also great to have. For your land base, you're going to be utilizing 20 lands total, and I'm just going to say right now, it's not cheap. I feel like there's somewhere somebody's making an American capitalism joke about this. You really don't want your cards to come into play tapped, because that sets you back a turn, and especially since we're playing more aggro style, it really is important to make sure that's a thing. To ensure that, focus on getting the shock lands first, get your pathway lands second. If you can't afford those, if you cannot have the lands available, if you have other kinds of lands, it's not the end of the world if you really have to use something like the temples or the buddy lands. But just consider that if they are going to come into play untapped, you might be actually better off just stacking a bunch of basic lands. But otherwise, that's it for the land base. Let's go over now the sideboard. As far as your sideboard is concerned, we have a little mixture here of everything that helps us just kind of adjust our deck. As always, though, don't over sideboard and adjust based on the current meta. Make your mark. I honestly kind of picked this mostly for the flavor, not necessarily because it's going to be amazing for our deck, but it actually does offer a little bit of wrath protection, because as our creature dies, it leaves behind a red and white spirit creature token for us. So Guy Lantern is going to be your general graveyard hate. We don't want to overdo it with graveyard hate in this deck because we're mostly focused on the aggro plan. Staggering Insight helps us stack a little bit more life gain and also card advantage in case if we do run into decks that are trying to strip us apart of our resources. Rip Apart is going to be great for us for more spot removal, and also if we need to get rid of an artifact or enchantment, it's great in a pinch. A single copy of Unbreakable Formation to help beef up all of our creatures and ensure that we can survive a Wrath. 2 copies of Flame Sweep if we need to destroy our opponent's board, and what's really sweet is it doesn't affect our creatures because all of our creatures in our deck have flying. And finally, 3 copies of Safara's Skyblade. You usually don't want to obviously pay the 7 mana for this angel. However, it's not the end of the world if you need to. Mostly the reason why you want it, of course, is for the wrath protection. Helps us keep the whole board alive and also allows us to keep swinging without worry. And there you have it. That is going to be, of course, the overall main deck. Let's go ahead and now have a couple matches with Sparky to show you how you can fly to freedom. All right, and here we go, everyone. We're going to be playing our Freedom Flyers deck versus Sparky to show you how you can handle this. Now, before we get started, I think we want some music. Let's go ahead, let's add something a little patriotic to this match. All right, I'm okay with this. Let's go ahead and play that. But in any case, back to the match itself. So let's see. We don't have the red mana to cast our Prismari Command or our Lightning Helix. We do have the Rally of Wings, but we only have 2 main threats. We're going to try to mulligan to see if we can get something better here. And, alright, well, we do have the Kai card, so we can go wide eventually. We can protect ourselves for a little bit. In the early game, however, we're going to be a little light. We're going to keep this still, and knowing Sparky, I don't think we'll need the Lofty Denial. We're going to really want to focus on getting to our Kai card, though. Alright, so for the early game, of course, knowing Sparky, we're going to be getting a lot of creatures right now coming down, so you want to start picking those off as soon as possible here. And, alright, we've got our Mountain. We're going to hold on to the Lightning Helixes. We have a whole set of them right now. So I'm going to keep those. With the Prismari command, we actually can get right to where we need to. So we're going to wait for a bit, take the damage. You can use the Lightning Helix for however you need to. Ideally, however, you want to be able to go to face with it, so that way you can just close the gap a little faster. Okay, what do we want it on? Let's put it on blue. We don't need anything else right now, so pass. So Sparky, it's going to be coming at us right now. Prismari command, 2 damage, and we'll create a treasure. So we'll create our treasure, get rid of at least 1 creature, take 2 damage, which is fine. We're basically just trying to get to this Kai card now, which now we can. Sparky, just don't blow it up. That's all I ask. We just want to have a little fun right now. They're going to go swinging. Nope. And put down more creatures. This is actually fine now, because now with our Lightning Helixes, we can actually close the gap. Knowing Sparky, they probably have some kind of pump spell, so that's why we did not do anything. Ooh, we got the Rally of Wings. All right. Okay, so let's see. How do we want to do this? We need to make sure we keep this open. So, well, there's not actually much we can do here. We'll just attack with the Kai card. All right, down to 17. Sparky goes swinging. That's fine. Now's our time to do it. We make a Spirit Creature token. Lightning Helix. Gain some life. We're going to keep our Spirit alive. You can now use them to chump block, which is actually pretty sweet. How do we want to do this now? Put down our Watcher of the Spheres. This will pump itself over a turn. So we're basically where we want to be right now. All right, do some damage. Now 13. I just want us to now go wide, and then we can just finish off with a big Rally of Wings attack. It's okay. We're going to come back right now with a huge overturn. Ooh, Symmetry Sage. All right, all right. I think we're in a good spot right now. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. Symmetry Sage pumps up the Watcher of the Spheres. We are going to Healer's Hawk. Pumps up the Sphere. All right. And that's basically it, everyone. Okay, we finally actually got another land source, which is great. So at this point, you have your choice. We can either Lightning Helix their face, get some more creatures, pump up the Symmetry Sage. We can go Skycat Sovereign. We can do anything at this point. But let's just go for the Rally of Wings victory. So, big attack. We can pump up our Healer's Hawk, because why not? Like our Wind's Fury. Makes a Spirit. Another flyer comes in, which pumps up the Watcher of the Spheres. And there you go. That's it, everyone. Woo! The go wide strategy. All in. Alright, and here we are now in match 2 of this game, where we're going to show you how you can go with the more traditional win. Instead of utilizing some of our other creatures, such as the Kaikar, if you just want to go for the straight-up beatdown plan, this deck is capable of doing that too. It's very flexible now that we are utilizing red. In this case right here, let's go for the flavor of our Eagle. Pumps up our Skycat Sovereign and our Healer's Hawk, but we're not going to attack yet. You can see Sparky's also trying to fly in. Huh? Ah, you guys like this. They're going to try to see if they can try to block us, which is really annoying actually with this, but our Rally of Wings can help us get around this. First though, we will really want to go all in on our Eagles here. So we got some really beefy stuff right now. No attacks yet. And the reason why is we want to use that Lofty Denial and the Rally of Wings. So we're going to see if we can try to get in that. Ooh, okay. Let's see. What color do we want? Let's put it on white. Okay. So you have a couple options here. You can start pumping up your creatures if you want to go wide with the Skycat Sovereign. We can also bring in Spectral Sailor and start drawing cards if you want to. So you actually have some options here. Let's just go for the big swing right now. See what Sparky blocks. And we can now double Rally of Wings, which is insane here. Ooh. Alright, Sparky is trying to be cheeky here, but that's why he got Lofty Denial. Do you pay for it? He does. Alright. Well. Wow. I'm actually a little surprised. Okay, so that does weaken us a smidge, but we still have a Rally of Wings here that we can kind of go in on. So let's do that. I want to keep our stuff alive. They're down to 10. We got some blockers out of the way, which is great. And we have another Rally of Wings. Remember again, as you saw right there, just like we did for the previous deck tech, Rally of Wings is also good not only on the offensive, but also as a defensive pseudo combat trick. So consider that as well. Alright. We're just going to go big here. Oh, attacking. Down to 1. And there you go, everyone. Not as glamorous as the other one utilizing Lightning Helix and everything, but it still gets the job done. Oh, wow. And we just got all the Eagles now. Let Freedom ring one more time. All right, there you go. So this is utilizing, of course, the Infuriating Eagles to pump ourselves up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And there you go, a super ridiculous overkill. All right? Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now, this is what you see on screen right now is my budget option for you if you really like this deck and you really don't want to spend a ton of rares on this. So in order for us to maintain what I consider a budget deck, which is 10 rares and or mythics or less, we trim away 1 Kaikar's Wind Fury. We then take away the Prismari commands and instead put in Winged Words. This will allow us to keep our Lightning Helixes, which we really will want to keep in this deck, and the Skycat Sovereigns to allow us to still go wide. Instead of our Shock Lands and Dual Lands, we'll be utilizing 5 Plains, 6 Islands, 4 Mountains, put in 4 Evolving Wilds, and a single copy of Field of Ruin to at least help us ensure we can get our mana fixed when we need it. In the sideboard, you will be losing the Sephara and instead put in a full playset of Make a Stand to replace the rares there. And there otherwise is going to be the budget option for you. Again, it's not as exciting and it's not as flexible as the original version, but if you like this style of deck, if you enjoy the flavor, go ahead and consider this version at least before you want to go full on. If nothing else, it's nothing, honestly, to lose if you actually craft any of those lands. The lands are always going to be essential in any deck you build. And there you have it, everyone. Freedom Flyers. Or if you do want to be more traditional, Jeskai Flyers. But again, I just wanted to have a little bit of fun for today. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Are you a fan of breathing new life into old decks? Do you enjoy just playing something fun and themed for whatever holiday may show up? Let me know in the comments below, and I would love to hear from you. But aside from that, thanks again for watching, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe if I helped you out, you'll learn something, or at least I entertained you. And remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, or in this case, on 4th of July, always be sure to burn bright. Later.